today I wanted to talk about my December wrap up and some of the books that I read for the month of December. So I was supposed to read 4 books. I wanted to finish out the year having read 52 books, but then a buddy read came up, and I'm weird about numbers, so I did not want to end my year on an odd number. So I decided to squeeze in 2 more books, um, and for a total of 6, so that I would end the year with 54 books read. So I'm kind of just going to give you guys a little rundown on what I read and my thoughts on them. So the first book that we have up was Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan. I absolutely adored this book. The trilogy was one of my favorites. It was part of my top 10 reads, but this one of the trilogy was my favorite. I know, if you like contemporary romance, it kind of hits, in that genre. But it's not as romancy as people would think. It's like a reality TV show, in my opinion. Like, you follow the lives of the different characters. Each chapter is a different character, or is based on a different character, and so you kind of get to follow the dramatics of this family, and it's so intriguing. And I think this one, the third book, was by far my favorite that I read. The second book that I read was Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. And I had been wanting to read this book for a while. I've heard both good and bad things about it. And the Goodreads reviews are really mixed. So some people either really loved it or they hated it. I actually enjoyed it. For me, I don't consider myself a harsh critic. And for me, I'm an optimist. So I like to see the positive in everything. I know a lot of people are talking about, how, she's white and she hasn't really lived this life and she's living life with blinders on. So her book is based on living a very sheltered life. Okay, but it's her story. Like, this is what was meaningful to her. And for me as a mother, she talks about being a mother and just, running a business and things like that. Those things really appealed to me. So I found value in the book and what Rachel had to say. There was some cute little nuggets in it. And, I thought it was motivational, and it definitely was a good read for me. It's not going to be for everybody, but, I definitely saw where she was trying to go with this book. And, you take it for what it is. Take the few little nuggets. You don't have to apply everything to your life, but take the nuggets for what they're worth and keep it moving. Then the next book that I finished was Why Men Love Bitches by Sherry Argov. This book was an interesting one as well. I was actually taking a dating course, and so the instructor asked me to host the book portion of it, that we read this book alongside this dating course, and that I kind of hold the book discussion. So, very interesting book, lots of nuggets again. It talks about being a bitch, but not in the sense that most people are probably thinking, like not being nasty and just right out, rude. It's more so just kind of standing your ground, being firm in the things that you want and don't want, and what you're going to tolerate and not tolerate. So I think it's a great book for single women who are looking to, venture out in dating in 2019. It's a great book with a lot of nuggets and kind of hold your own in the dating world, as tricky as it can be for some. The next book that I read was Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'd seen the movie many years ago, but I had never read the book, and it's been something, I think this was passed down to me by my mom. So it was a book that, was on my bucket list that I kind of wanted to read, and I did it via audiobook, so it was the perfect time for me to just go ahead and knock it out. Again, mixed reviews on this one, but for me, as someone who's divorced and kind of trying to become your own after divorce, her story was super appealing to me, super relatable. So I understood what she was doing, and her journey was interesting to me, and kind of getting back on that path of, finding yourself and who you are after divorce as a single individual when you've been married and with someone for, a good chunk of your life. So I really appreciated this one. Great book with a lot of little nuggets and good life takeaways, but I really appreciated her journey to see how she was able to bounce back. So it's a beautiful thing for me anytime that I can read a book about someone who's divorced and kind of, you know, is able to bounce back and live their best life. So, and then my final read of 2018 was Becoming by Michelle Obama. Such an inspirational book to end on. I love this book with everything in me. Michelle is just, if we didn't already love her before, then you at least have an appreciation for her and understanding for her. But if you loved her before, you probably love her even more so after reading this book. Extremely good, and you guys will probably see my other review where I talk more in depth about this book, but this book was everything. The perfect note for me to end the year on, and just, you know, want to be inspired and do something great in 2018. So I'm really appreciative of this book and the little nuggets that I took away from that one. And I also did forget one book. I forgot I mentioned 5, but I did because I don't have the hard copy of the book, The Wedding, by Dorothy West. I also read that as a buddy read. That book I've had for probably 8-9 years sitting on my Kindle. And I attempted to be in a book club, you know, those many years ago, and reading just wasn't my thing then. So I read like the first 30 pages and just kind of stopped reading it. So the opportunity, I think I was actually Googling similar books to the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, and that was one of the books that came up several times in articles. So I decided, hey, I already have this, why not give it a shot? I was buddy reading it with 2 other people, and I actually really loved the story. It was so cute. It was the same mix of family drama as the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, and it also like did a great job. It has this family tree in the beginning of the book, but it does a great job of tying all of these different characters together to kind of come to this wedding and what this book is titled. So extremely good book. Definitely one that should be read, especially by African American women. But yeah, so those were the 6 books that I read in the month of December, and for me it was a really great reading month from beginning to end. So many good books, and that's it for me. So I hope to see you guys next time.